Hey everyone, how's it going? So we've had a lot of remasters and remakes in zombies over the past few years. 13 of them to be exact. So today, I'm going to go through each map that has a remake or a remaster and choose between the original and the remake. It's a simple concept, but it should be fun, and hopefully we'll get closer to deciding whether all these remakes and remasters are actually good for the game. Starting with Nacht and Toten. The original's from World at War, and the remaster is from Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. We're not going to be taking a look at any of the remasters that were in the original Black Ops, because they're kind of just not the newest version of the remake, if that makes sense. This one's close, but Black Ops 3 just plays better than the original Nacht and Toten. Having perks and gobblegums is a nice option if you want to reduce the bare-bones nature of the map, but you can also just ignore them and play a bare-bones map with the Black Ops 3 engine. So the first one is going to the remaster. We're moving on to Verruckt, and it's close again. But like with Nacht and Toten, I'm going with the remaster, and my reasoning is just about the same as the reasoning for Nacht. You can play this map with the features of Black Ops 3, or ignore them and play a bare-bones map on the Black Ops 3 engine. Also, something worth mentioning with these remasters is that the graphics are a lot better on this one. And now we're moving on to Numa, and this is the first map I'm gonna go with the original. The sole reason I'm going with this one is because the high rounds are broken, and it honestly makes the map for me. It's the most unique part of the map, and it's not in the Black Ops 3 version. We've reached the final map from World at War, and this is where people unsubscribe. This one was the hardest choice of the entire list by far, and I'd gladly play both any day of the week. But after a lot of thought, I'm picking the Giant from Black Ops 3. Both are incredible maps. The fact that Riese is at all competitive while still being over a decade old is an achievement in its own right. However, World at War has not aged well. It's clunky, slow, and more difficult than people give it credit for. Black Ops 3 just plays so much better as a game. It's also got better high round capability and, above all, a functioning wonder weapon. So even though I'm sure this is the unpopular option, I'm going with the Giant. Moving on from the hardest choice to the second hardest choice on the entire list. Which Kino am I picking? I'm giving this one to the original map. The reason I'm giving it to Black Ops 1 Kino is because the map is already super easy. So having a bad weapon sandbox and no gobblegums makes the map just a little bit harder. I can have more fun constantly being forced to swap weapons than just playing the Black Ops 3 version. Though, like Riese, I'd happily play either one. And to give credit to Black Ops 3, it makes the map look a whole lot better, which is something I just can't say about the original. Now that we're done with two of the hard choices, we can move on to an easy one. And what did you know, it involves a Black Ops 4 map. Just a heads up, if you really like Black Ops 4 Zombies, you're not gonna like what I have to say about the remakes there. Unsurprisingly, I'm going with 5. 5 is one of the most underrated maps in my opinion, and Black Ops 4 is kind of garbage. There's really not a whole lot to say, and that's going to be a trend for all the Black Ops 4 maps. Like Kino, Toten, and Riese, Ascension is another map where I'd happily play either version. But unlike Kino, I'm giving this one to Black Ops 3's version of Ascension. Black Ops 3's Ascension has a more vibrant color palette, gobblegums make dealing with the monkeys a lot easier, and you can use the Wonder Fizz machine to get perks that don't have machines on the map. So you can have 4 perks on the map and actually be able to defend them all in solo. Black Ops 1 version is dark and gray, and the monkeys make it almost impossible to get more than 4 perks. And now we're back to a Black Ops 4 map. Of all the maps that got remade into Black Ops 4, I would say this is the second best. I'm pretty confident saying Classified is the best remake in Black Ops 4. I'd even consider it as one of the 3 good maps in Black Ops 4 alongside 9 and Ancient Evil. But TOG is probably the second best remake. I say probably because I've only played it a couple of times. By the time this one came out, I was pretty much done with Black Ops 4, but I've played it enough to say that it's not better than Call of the Dead. And Call of the Dead has its problems, and TOG fixed a number of them to give credit where credit is due. So yeah, this one's going to Call of the Dead. Shangri-la is an interesting map. I didn't like this map for the longest time, and then the Black Ops 3 version of Shang came out and completely changed my opinion on the map. It went from one of my least favorite maps to, I wouldn't call it a favorite map, but certainly one I can enjoy playing every once in a while. I've fallen in love with the Black Ops 1 version of the map since, but the Black Ops 3 version is still my favorite. The mechanics of Black Ops 3 make the early rounds a lot more manageable, and it raises the ceiling for high rounds, at least for shit players like me. And like with all the Black Ops 3 remasters, it's just gorgeous. Easily the best looking map in all of Zombies. Speaking of beautiful maps, let's wrap up Black Ops with Moon. Pretty much everything I said about Shang applies to Moon as well. I never liked the original map, and then Black Ops 3 came out and completely won me over. It made the astronaut a lot more manageable. You can actually get away from him this time. Widow's Wine makes Jug a lot less necessary, which, if you've ever played Moon, you know how important that is. The map looks a lot nicer, the weapon sandbox is better, and with it being in Black Ops 3, the early rounds are a lot easier as well. So I'm going with the Black Ops 3 version. And we've finally made it to Black Ops 2. And the first one is a Black Ops 4 map as well. So as you might expect, I'm going with the original. Even so, Nuketown is a fun, chaotic map already, and Alpha Omega has a whole bunch of problems aside from just the inherent ones in Black Ops 4. So I'm not writing it off just because it's in Black Ops 4. I do actually really like the original Nuketown. And now we have the last map that was remade into Black Ops 4. Mob of the Dead or Blood of the Dead is Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead is the winner here. There's no question about it. Mob of the Dead is a classic map. It's the map that got me into zombies in a serious way after playing for almost 2 years, and Blood of the Dead is just a butchering of that map. It has the same problems every Black Ops 4 map has, and its own map-specific problems. You guys all know what Blood of the Dead is like. I don't have to explain myself here. And now we're at the final map. Origins, and this one is maybe going to shock some people, but I'm going with the Black Ops 3 version. This is another map where I'd happily play either version, but just having the map in Black Ops 3 makes the map a lot better. Like I've said numerous times over the course of this video, the early rounds are more manageable, the graphics are better, gobblegums give you more ways to play. It's just ever so slightly better than the original, so I'm giving it to Black Ops 3. And those were my thoughts on each remastered map. I'll put them on screen again as a refresher. And what I noticed in doing that is that it's all really close. We talked about 13 maps in this video. I went for the original map 6 times and a remaster / remake 7 times. It's really close. That is until you remember that 4 of the 6 times I went with the original, the remake was in Black Ops 4. If you ignore those, the remasters universally won with the exception of Numa, which got the win solely because the map is technically broken. And Kino der Toten, which was close. I could have given Kino to the remaster. If that happened, and we continue to ignore the Black Ops 4 remakes, there's only one map where the original is better. And that one map got the win because it doesn't work. Which brings me to this. Are remasters and remakes good for the game? In my opinion, after talking about all this, it comes down to 2 things. If the game mechanics are better than the previous games, and if the time is right, then yes. If the game mechanics aren't better than the original game, then it's never going to work. And that's a large reason why the Black Ops 4 remakes didn't work. Black Ops 4 was inherently a worse game than just about every other game, apart from maybe World at War. Contrast that to Black Ops 3, which has the best mechanics of any game in the series. And then there's timing. Zombie Chronicles worked because there weren't any remastered maps before then, aside from the World at War maps in Black Ops and also the Giant. It was a fresh idea, but now that we've gotten remake and remaster after remake and remaster, and as typical DLC maps no less, people have gotten tired of them. The timing was right at first. Right now, going into Black Ops 5, or whatever the name is going to be, not the right time. Maybe at the end as a finale, something along the lines of Chronicles 2 or 1/8 remake on launch to get people in the door while you start up something entirely different. But I think that's all I would want. But we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.